Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I love to do farmhouse decor on a budget, especially Dollar Tree DIYs. So if that's something you love, I would love it if you would stick around by clicking the red subscribe button and then tapping the bell and all to be notified every single time I upload. So for today's video, I have 2 bedroom farmhouse decor signs. So with all that being said, let's jump right into today's DIYs. Okay guys, so to start off, I have these 2 signs from Dollar Tree, and whenever I see these signs, I pick up a whole stack of them just because I can use them for so many different things. So I take off the hangers, and then I knew that I wanted my edges straight, which is a really easy fix. I just take a ruler and a utility knife, and I just score it down where I want it. After I scored it a few times, then you can just put the ruler aside and go back in. Now, I struggled with this at first, you guys, because I should have just changed my blade from the beginning, but I didn't know how dull this blade was. So when your blade is pretty dull, it is a little bit more tricky, but it's really not too bad. So after I did this one side, I did get smart and change my blade, and I literally did each side in about 30 seconds. It was much easier, but you basically just want to cut through until you get to the front side, which is essentially just a thick piece of paper. And then you kind of bend it that way from the back side you can see where you need to cut from that side, and then you go on from the other side and just cut that paper through. After you cut that paper, then it's really easy just to pull those sides off. So here you see I'm just cutting from the back, and then you see the sides just basically fall right off. So after I have all my sides cut off, I take a blow dryer, because I don't know what it is with these Dollar Tree stickers, but sometimes they're like impossible to get up without having to piece it, like pull off one little piece at a time, which I ain't got time for that. But anyway, I should have just put my blow dryer on it for a few seconds and then took my putty knife and pulled it off, but I'm impatient, so I always learn the hard way. But anyway, after I did half the way you just saw me doing it, then I got smart and just put it down and it came right off. So after I have my stickers pulled off, I then just take my finger sander. This is linked down in my Amazon favorites. And I get questions about it all the time, so I always mention it in my videos, but the residue is, there's still a little bit of residue on this sign from the sticker after you pull it off, so I do just sand that off, and then I take my Dyson, which is my favorite tool because you can switch it to handheld or you can use it as a vacuum. But after I get the residue off, I go ahead with some lightweight spackling from Dollar Tree and my putty knife, and I just fill in those holes. I like this putty because it dries really quickly and it's really easy to work with. So next I take my square dowels. These are also linked down below. I use them to frame out everything because I feel like it just gives the piece a more finished look. So I just take my sign and I take my pieces, I mark where they're gonna sit on each side, and then I mark my other pieces, because once you have one piece measured out, then you can line up the rest of your pieces because they're gonna be the exact same length. So I then just measure my side pieces, and I'm sorry that I wasn't in frame to see the whole thing. I'm using my new camera and it's definitely a learning curve, so with each video I will get better and better. So I always get questions on my mini miter saw. This is also linked down below. I love this thing because I can use it right on my kitchen counter. Say that 5 times fast. But I use it right on my kitchen counter, and it doesn't create very much dust, so the cleanup is not bad at all. And I just vacuum the dust right up and put it away. So I just line my dowels up. I lower the blade to make sure it's where I want it to cut, and then I turn it on and cut it, and it's easy as that. Now I will say that not very much fits in here, but it's definitely good for the projects that I need because I'm always just using small things. If I need anything bigger cut, either I'll get my husband to pull out his saw or he'll cut it for me. So I just stain those with my favorite stain, Jacobine. You guys have seen me do that a million times, so I didn't want to bore you yet again. But I then just take the signs, I lay them out, and then I give them a good coat of white Waverly chalk paint. Now the first one, I do just set it aside after I get the first coat on, and then do the first coat on the second sign. Once I have my second sign painted, I do then go in with my blow dryer to dry it so that I can put a second coat, and then I repeat that for the second sign.
They were in high school when they met, and things got kinda awkward. With sparks in the air, he would stare at her in class, and she would try to act cool. But it was obvious, like, ooh, they would be together, ooh. And one day she said, write me a love song, 'cause I know you'll make it beautiful.
Okay, so after I have my pieces painted, and I just made sure that they were dry with the blow dryer, I then printed off these words, and I take my graphite paper and I just trace them on how I like. I will leave all the information in the description box below, which words are which font and size. So definitely make sure to check the description box if you want to recreate this sign. So I always take my time. This is the part that I take my time with the most, just because there's, smaller parts of the word, bigger parts of the word, and then the lettering that say is my favorite place, or is my that font. I do, you see little white spots in them. I do leave those white spots white. So that's your choice if you just want to color the whole letter. If that makes any sense, here in a minute you'll see what I'm talking about. But as always, it's your preference. If you want to color in the whole letter, if you want to use a different font, that's totally up to you. I also do get my fonts off of dafont.com. I'll leave that in the description box as well. So I do use my black paint pen to go over that lettering, and then I do the exact same thing with the next sign. And again, I cannot stress enough how important this tracing step is. You want to be as diligent as possible, because if you go out of the lines or whatever, sometimes the wording can come out looking kind of funny. So again, I just put a show on my phone, and I'm just as slow and as careful as possible. Sorry if that makes no sense, but I explain stuff the best that I can. So this sign was just missing a little something, so I did just freehand a vine under This Is Us. If you don't feel comfortable freehanding, just go to your computer, print something off that you like, and then do the same thing, trace it. So once I had them how I like them, and I go in with my black paint pen and trace over that as well. I do get my paint pens from Walmart. I have used many paint pens, and these are by far the best quality, and they are a little bit more pricey. It's about $2 and some change for one pen, but it's definitely worth it because the colors are nice and bold and they last a really long time. Next, I just, on the first sign, I did go around the edge and dry brushed with my natural bristle brush. I will leave a link to them in the description box. I get a lot of questions about them too, and they are for in-store pickup only, but you might be able to find them somewhere else to be able to order them. So you can skip this step because I thought that maybe I could see it through our trim, but once I put the trim on, you can't even see the dry brushing around the edges, but I do also dry brush the middle of the sign as well. So I then take my trim pieces, I start at the bottom, I then do the sides and then do the top piece, just so that way I know that these are fitting nicely together. I also do glue these down with hot glue. You can use any glue you really want to, but hot glue dries really fast, and when you're doing trim, it's kind of hard to get them to stay if you're trying to use a different glue. So really just use whatever you have on hand. If you don't have hot glue and you have a glue that takes a little bit longer to dry, make sure you put something heavy on it or a clamp or something like that just to hold it in place. Next, I just dry brush the other sign. At first, I just dry brushed around the wording, but it looked kind of funny to me, so I did just go back in the other sign as well as this sign and dry brush all throughout the wording as well, but I do dry brush it very lightly. Last but not least, I take my sawtooth hangers. Again, this is another, these are very light signs, so you don't need to worry about screwing them in. Hot glue will do just fine. I use Gorilla Glue hot glue, and this stuff really sticks to anything other than plastic. So I then just go ahead, glue them down, and then I make sure to glue on top of it when I'm done, just to make sure that I secure it nice, and then that way it won't come apart. I do the same thing for the next sign. You can see here that this one I did it upside down, but it doesn't really matter because you're not going to see the back. And that is it, you guys. It is that quick and easy to get high-end looking signs. I know you guys love my signs. That's why I bring you lots of signs, because those are my most viewed videos. So I can see what you guys like. I can see what you guys enjoy. I don't want to waste my time or your time by bringing you something you guys don't want to see. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps YouTube to notice me a bit more, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Call you my sweetheart and promise nobody can steal me away. Then I am yours, 'cause I want you and I wanted you to know. He looked at her and then he smiled, picked up a pen and paper.